Annette from Jersey, is she there? Okay.
Yes, I am, yeah.
Yes,
Good
okay.
evening.
Yes, I remember you. You have been in India, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, look, these are many questions. I cannot answer every question, would take too long. But I will make an effort.
Thank you.
You are from South Africa. You have been living in France and now you live in Jersey. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, you came to the monastery, as far as I understand, you came to the monastery, it says here, for a dark retreat. Then you joined a Darshan retreat with OM in India, and your experience was the following. I was both in awe and shocked at what I experienced during those 2 weeks in India. Never before had I heard people share so honestly what I was not even willing to admit to myself about my own life. At that time, I thought I would never be able to show myself like that, but now I'm beginning to put up my hand and ask questions. You know why people don't ask questions?
Well, I fear of embarrassment and shame and...
Well, they don't want to hear the answers.
No.
Today I was talking to some students because I'm just having a large group of students here in the monastery. And it was about letters that I receive, because I receive many letters from many people. And we could divide these letters into two. One part, there's letters of people who ask questions. And the other part is letters that just contain opinions and belief systems that people just want to deposit. They're not interested in hearing anything. They just want to deposit their own opinions and belief systems. And actually, they want to tell OM that they have realized the truth or something. I've met many, many people all over these years who really had no idea, but they believed they knew. So asking questions, really asking questions is an innocent matter. But it definitely needs a humble mind to really ask questions while wanting to hear the answer. Because of course, there are also people who ask questions and they still don't want to hear the answer. But it's a beginning to ask questions. An innocent matter. You don't ask the questions, really. If you ask questions to the master, you don't ask questions to somebody. You just ask questions to something within yourself which is reflected through the master. Innocence is the beginning of knowing. People don't know because lack of innocence. Innocence is the mother soil on which true knowledge can grow. If people are not innocent, they're not able to receive knowledge. So, number one, you describe something, that many people describe, and in a way it's a natural phase in the path. Simply said, when you come to the monastery, you say, you get close to your heart. But when you leave the monastery, I guess you could also mean a retreat in India, which is the same setting, then a kind of inner distancing starts. I feel distance growing when I'm home again. Well, you see, this is not an exceptional experience. At the beginning, you get a very strong dose of transmission. People at the beginning, they seem to need the outside transmission. Because they're used to looking into the mirror. But it will reflect more and more inside, and the anchoring of this self-remembrance will happen more and more in a later phase. For most people, you see, it's different phases. The first phase is the transmission is coming from outside. The seeming outside master, the outside conditions. But in the second phase, it will more and more come from inside. The second question is more practical. You say that, of course, I speak mostly to German speakers. And people who live far away, who are English speaking, how could they follow the inner path with you? Well, honestly, I have to say that my resources are quite absorbed with German-speaking people. And most of my resources, they go into the school of the fourth way. And not to a broad public. But there are English-speaking people in the school. There is translation in the school. I mean, if you want to follow this teaching radically, you would have to come to the school. Maybe, there will be more, I don't know, more happenings like tonight. I don't know. It depends on the inner call. In the third question, you're asking, what do you mean by the inner house? Because I have said to you, which I myself cannot remember, but I guess you're right. I have said to you in a retreat, I should bring my inner house in order.
Yes.
Yes. So what does it mean to bring my inner house in order? Well, first of all, we just have to note that the inner house of people is in disorder. This has different meanings. One meaning of the fourth way is that the inner hierarchy is completely upside down. So the true hierarchy, which is called also the hierarchy of realization, has a natural order of things. This, in an ordinary human being, is not happening. It needs inner practice, it needs knowledge, so that the true hierarchy can happen again. Western people, as I put it in my book, the Intelligence of Awakening, there is an example where an Indian teacher says to Western people, you know what you are doing is you are trying to square circles. Squaring circles is a way of saying this person has really no idea about inner hierarchies. Everything is upside down. Of course, you know the Zen koan about the upside down circle? The upside down circle is a difficult koan. Of course, it seems difficult to understand what could this mean, the upside down circle. But of course, if people are trying to square the circle, this is part of the answer that cannot be understood completely. The second thing, the second point concerning the bringing in order the inner house relates to, let's call it the false owner of the house. You have a house, inner house, you see, but there is someone who believes to be the owner of the house. Maybe he's not the owner of the house. So therefore, in the fourth way, we have the teachings about the master of the house. Ordinary people believe to be the master of the house. For example, looking into something very practical, you see how a person deals with fear. Usually you find that fear is linked to various attempts of control. So the person is actually reacting with trying to control the fear. This person might hear the teachings of the mastery of the house, but you see, this is when the false master is in action. It's not so simple to understand the teachings of the true master of the house, becoming master of the house, because the one who is controlling, who believes to be in control, believes to be the master of the house. The truth is he is not. The one who believes to be in control has absolutely no control about anything. It's just a deception. So these are 2 points in the answer. You see, when you ask about the inner house and bringing it in order. The hierarchy, and point number 2, especially the master of the house. Inner mastery means finding the true will. And being able to make use of it. Last but not least, last question. What is the difference between helping other people and serving other people? You're asking this question because you are professionally, you have moved into this social arena where you work with other people, right?
Yes.
You work with people who are very old and who are dying?
Yes. Well, yeah, at the last stage of their life.
The
Yes.
last stage of their life, yes. Well, you see, this answer I would also give to therapists and everybody who is working with people. See, therapy means serving. Actually, the root of the term means to serve. But true therapy is therapy without a therapist. True serving is serving without a servant. If you have the idea of wanting to help people, this is just in the way. You cannot help people. You cannot and you don't need to. Serving comes from a silent mind. Whatever appears from a silent mind is unknown and absolutely unpredictable. You don't know what you will say in the next moment to this person. Maybe you will just remain quiet. You don't know what you will say. You don't know what you will act. There is no moral instance, constantly interfering in your actions, saying, oh, this was not very friendly. Or maybe you should have said something else. You see, this is the ordinary being. Therapy as being a therapist. Therapy with being an identified therapist is of limited power. If you have no idea to help people, It's not about helping people, it's about being with people. All transmission comes from being, not from helping. How are you feeling right now?
I feel the need for that silent mind, because this was a lot of information, and thank you very much for answering these questions. And yes, the silence.
It was a lot, but you can hear it again.
Thank you. Yes, I will. Thank you very much.